Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Thursday, September the 16th. So, there's two things that I'm looking at here, as you probably know. One of these is a possibility that this move through here is a wave 4, and then we make one more move up here for wave 5 of 3 and have this wave 3 up here. Now, that means the banks would need to get off their backside and move up, and that's a little bit tricky for them to do at this stage, but we'll have a look at them on the intraday basis today as well. Now, I think that we really need to go to the intraday to have a look at this, because the other side here is that we do have wave 3 in, and we would be looking for an A and a B and a C to come work lower here. And we've got this trend line in, and as you may know, it's kind of common for the market to come back and hit a trend line and then, fade at that point. So I was looking for another little move down through here. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and just drill in and have a look at this. So there's two ways that I have been looking at this. Is one that we've got an A wave, a B wave with a triangle through here as wave E for the B wave. That's kind of typical. And then would have 5 waves down looking for wave 5 of C of A here. We could look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 here, and then I was looking as an A and a B and a C for wave 4. Now, once this top gets taken out here, this has already moved quite a way, really. So if we take the top of wave 2 roughly to the low there, we can see that to have a wave 4, we were looking at 38.2% retracement level, which comes into here. So I've got the wave 4 up at the 50-60%. So I know that's kind of high up there, but we wouldn't want it going any higher than where it is at the moment, because it would just be too high at that point and it would make it look a little bit sort of silly. But I could accept a wave 4 in 3 waves like this, coming back to this number here, the midpoint, the 50, the 7450, because really it was the floor of this before, and I know markets like to retest where they've been before, and but to push up through here, push up through that high there, and then here we have, looks like it's 3 waves here from this low. So that means that we end up having, if that's 1 and 2, it won't finish in 3 waves. It will end up being in 5 waves. So we're going to get something like this coming back up a little bit higher in that regard. Beyond that, I'm not quite sure, but it could turn bullish at that point. But it was a bit difficult to look at this as an impulse wave, because it was kind of in 3 waves here. But as I mentioned before, it's possible to count it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then pushing up for 3 and pushing up higher at that point. So all of that is, all of that is pretty sort of valid, I guess, at a point. So that would leave us really at this number here. So we can look at this also as we can look at all of this here as a triangle pattern of wave E down to this point, because it finishes on 3 waves here. So we can look at it as wave E of 4. So that kind of makes it a bit interesting for banks at that particular point in time. We also talked about going long yesterday with all of this. So we went through yesterday looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here for this, as wave 4, and then down for 1 and 2, and it just wouldn't drop below that 7.4. But we also knew that we could go long above this here. So if you're long here at the moment, then all we can do is really work this trend to the upside here and look at it in a 5-wave move here for this. Now, would this be some sort of A wave, B wave and C wave and finish at this point and drop back down? Yeah, probably, because we're also, if you've been following the US markets, the US stocks or the indices, even if you don't trade them, I think it's sort of interesting to keep an eye on them, because they do drag around the other markets to a point. So it is possible to have this wave E over here as wave 4 here, finishing this in 3 waves. It's a bit of a long shot. but it just didn't really get 5 waves down here. I could squeeze it, I guess. I could look at this here as wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, and then the 4th wave here. But we've got such an overlap there, so you can see that would really be sort of squishing things in, which is not really the thing to do. It's better to sort of come back and take another look at things. So we've been really a blend of being a trader and being an analyst here. So as a trader, we knew that this was a classic trading levels pattern sitting at here. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the A, the B and the C wave, and looking to go long here. We didn't have that there. So you may have gone into this one here, which would have been right. And you could have even gone into that one, just being hindsighted here. And it's helpful. I mean, it's just reinforcing, mental muscle memory, I guess, into certain patterns and setups, because it takes a while for the penny to drop. Now, how far this will go, I don't know, but based on this here, 1 and 2, and nice little 3rd wave, 4th and 5th, we should get to this here. So if you are trading long here, then that's the number to look at that point. So yeah, I'll mull this over a little bit, and probably on the weekend I'll spend some time with it and see where I've gone wrong or what I could have improved and where we're going from here. I think the best thing to do at this point is really to have a look at the banks, and if we, on the bullish side, if we start with where are we with ANZ. Now with ANZ here, I'd been looking at it, I was just trying to be sort of practical, but with this here being wave 4 and wave 5 here, but we don't really get 5 waves here, we don't really make a new high here, so it's a bit difficult to call that in here. So we've had this wave 3 over here. We can, and we have been looking at this as an A, B, C, D and E over here, and that works quite well. So if we go back to our tick chart, and we'll need to bring in some more data, not that much, but okay, so that wave, blue wave 4 that we've been tracking for the ASX 200, we could put that here on this triangle pattern here as well. Wave 4 there. We'll come to this in a moment, but there's a good case for having it as wave 3 here with an A, B, C here for the A wave, and then we've got 5 waves up here for the A, the B and the C for the B wave. Just move that out of the way a bit, and then this here in 3 waves, and this one here in 3 waves, and then we're looking at this in 3 waves. So basically an A, B, C, D and E here. It makes quite a nice triangle, so that brings us into this point of understanding this down here. So this is where we need to start monitoring it, keep an eye on it, and so we could look at this first sharp move down as wave A here. We could also look at it as wave 1 and wave 2 as well, but if we just look at it as wave A here with a wave B here, then 1 and 2 and a 5 wave move down for wave 3 and A, B, C for 4 and then down for 5 here. Now with this 5th wave here, it makes it a little bit sort of tricky. This is impulsive, so it takes it to there, and that is the high. So we'd have to look at this as wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave. And I'm thinking all of this here for the 4th wave here and the 5th wave here, even though we haven't made a low here. But if that is the case, then we could look at that as 5C of E of 4 there. Now, if that's not the case, then we would need to come back here and look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here and down for 3 here and back for 4 here, pulling back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree and then down for wave 5. And if we get 5 waves down, well then that puts us in a slightly different picture at that point. But as a triangle pattern coming to this low here, if we see this push up, then yeah, I mean, we'll just keep an eye on it. One of the things here, if this was going to be a wave 4 here, then it would pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, so pull back to there and then to here. But I'm thinking that if it comes to here and we get that classic trading levels pattern sitting here, well then we've got ourselves a long trade at that point. We can go long at that point but we'd have to get that first. We could go long here, but we could get trapped, so kind of the risk reward doesn't sort of add up. But if this sets up here, then that could take us much higher at that point. So I think that's kind of interesting. The CBA doesn't really take us far. Where are we? Combank. So with Combank here, I could sort of look at it. I've had this as wave 4 here, which I think is suitable. And then wave 5 here, we have pushed up. It's not a long way above here. So we could treat it as an A and a B and a C wave to here, or even to here, but to here. So instead of having the wave 4 here, but having it here. And then climbing. But I don't really get a nice 5-wave move from, because obviously this is the low here. So from that low, we don't really get a nice 5-wave structure to the upside. It's more like an A and a B and a C wave to here, so as I've mentioned a few times, that this is the 50-60% here. If we got support on this level here, we would go long from that point. But otherwise, I don't even want to short it because we're not under the level. If we were under the level, if it come down and, it was, here it's banging itself on support here, but if it was banging itself on resistance here, well, then we would look to, short it below these here. We need to get your timing right. You need to be on the right side of the closest largest number. So if, then I would short it on this side, but I don't want to short it above, even though I could get away with it, but the risk is too high. It might go to here first and then you get out and then it goes down. You know how that goes. We've all been through that before. Too many objects on the chart means I've been talking too much. So I just don't have a clear I just don't have a clear pathway for the banks, and I don't know if we've got wave 3 in play up here. That's been my problem. And even if we're coming in, if that wave 3 is correct and we're coming into wave 4, as I would have mentioned before, coming into this wave 4 here, it's only going to be a nightmare, and we need to prepare for that, and we don't want to move into it and you haven't been told, So, yeah, have you been told lately? That's the thing. So I really can't, apologise, I can't really give you a clear thing on all of this. We'll have a quick look at the other guys here. Just bear with me a second. The AXJO, where are we with that? It's the same sort of thing here. This looks corrective, this move up through here. I don't know if we can can count that as 1 and 2 here, and I could probably get 5 waves out of all of this moving up here. So it's possible to call it in a top. Like I said, I have to force it a little bit. It makes much more sense as a 1 and 2 here, and then a 3rd wave up here, and then we're in a 4th wave here, and then we're going into a 5th wave, because this looks like an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here. We can't see the 1 and 2, but they'll be in there, and the 3 and the 4 here. And this pattern that moves up here and moves back and moves up here and then drops back here, this is very much like CBA here, isn't it? When you think about it. So having this as a 4th wave over here somewhere, it's a possibility. I just don't have enough evidence for that yet, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a good case for it to be bearish as well. So if this sits back onto the 7,500 here, then that would be a positive. So if we see, today and tomorrow and that getting back and sitting on here, then we may be able to use that. But even if we made another high here, I don't think it's going to be that long. Do you know what I mean? If that's wave 1 and 2 here, and that's 3, and this is all of 4 here, then wave 1 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So even halfway between that, like 10 days a week, or more. So not a huge thing, but anyway, if it's going to happen, we'll catch it. We'll catch it either way, because we'll short it if I'll just see if how the finance sector's doing. That's the XFJ. If there's any same sort of thing here. Just have a look at NAB, because that was one of the ones that were leading to the upside. Should bring that into the volume there. Yeah, it's edging a bit lower, but like I've mentioned before, it can be wave 4 pulling back here from these, I'll take it from that low here, still can come down further. So that's not sort of helpful. We know Macquarie's is moving up, so MQG, let's just take a look at that. Yeah, as I mentioned the other day, we had this moving down, didn't we? But we had it moving down on lower volume, so we knew it was corrective, and plus it was just hitting, it's hitting 180, so a minor trading level 8 here, so that's going to get hit. But this is going to push back up. We're getting increasing volume, so that's good there, but we're not that interested in that. Macquarie's got a mind of its own. Bank of Queensland. Okay, so this should be interesting. Let's see what this has got for us here. This looks more toppy than... See, this is all of 1 and 2 here, and because wave 2 was complicated, well, still wave 4 is pretty complicated, but this would be 1 and 2 here at a guess. This would be 3, this would be 1 and 2. I don't know if that's 3 and 4, looks like it. And then this is the rest of it here for that 5th wave. I need to figure that out. But I'm not sure, but all that's the 4th wave. But this would be the 5th wave here. So we were looking for it to make another high here of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And that's what I thought all the others would do, but they didn't. But this has got like quite a nice impulse wave coming down here now, isn't it? So I think that we could be starting the trend down now. So that having that wave 3 in may be the case. I'll just going to go out of left field here for a second. I just want to have a look at the US banks just for a second. See, for the US banks, this is Morgan's here. JP Morgan. So it's the same sort of thing where they had a wave 4, maybe looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, coming back for 2, and then going for 3, 4, 5. And BAC, Bank of America, same thing here as well, with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it's, because this is corrective here, it's not 5 waves down. So we're looking for this to push higher. So once we'll keep an eye on these. I mean, that's Bank of America. Goldman Sachs is already taken out that high, but has got 5 waves there. So I'll just have a look at that. So it's had its ABC here, but it's all got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to, Goldman Sachs, they're in the same class of robbers as Macquarie. So so they're in their own little world, but obviously they're, so yeah, they can push up. They can have a much more of a trend. I mean, if we consider it, if that's wave 1, right, and then we're coming back for wave 2, then we've still got wave 3, 4, and 5. So that's still quite bullish, isn't it? When we think about it. Okay, enough waffling. So let's move on to have a quick look at China. So China's rolled back. We were expecting it to roll back because we were figuring we had little 5 waves up there, pretty ugly, but we should, from that low to that high, we'd expect it to pull back 50-60%. So let's just see if it holds there. Let's also check out the Shanghai comp as well, and we've had retail figures come out of China yesterday, which were 2.5, which is very disappointing retail figures. I mean, the Shanghai comp here has got this nice bullish move to the upside, but if we don't need to count all of that, but as I've mentioned before, just taking it from here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. So we're up for 1, back for 2, and this is the 3rd wave going up here, and the 3rd wave would be 1 and 2 here, and then this would be most of the 3rd wave here. So we're seeing this pull back here, but we're also seeing this pull back on pulling back on lower volume as well. Right. So that's that. We just want to have a quick look at India. Somebody was just mentioning, I think, let me just check that email here. So there's a on Friday there's a quadruple witching, so there's going to be a lot of volatility. Thanks Anil for that, and I'll mention that again tomorrow. So India, so that's, yeah, that can rock the markets a little bit. Let's have a look at India. So with India here, look, I'd probably have to revisit this count here, you know. I probably need to look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. Yeah, I'll get into that because this is traveling like a third wave here. But anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here. And then we've got 1 and 2 here. And we were looking for 3 and 4 here. But yeah, you know, anyway, that's all played out quite nicely. And then we'll push up. So it's a bit of a stretch to get up to the 18 there, but one step at a time. It's still too short at the moment, so we should see it still push up. Then we've got 3 and 4 and 5 here, so we've still got a long way with this. And yeah, we'll look to take money off the table at here. I don't know if you want to take profit or a percentage at that point. It just depends if you want to ride wave 4 out, you know. I think taking some off the table at least is good practice, you know. Sometimes, you know, if you took profit here and then, which we did, then we just got back in over here again. Do you know what I mean? But this could have been much bigger here, you know, because we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibly here. So we did all the right things at the right time. You know, you could say in hindsight, well, you shouldn't have gotten out. And here we could be the same as well. But, you know, the market might be, even though it's high, it might be sort of a bit hollow and empty and wouldn't need much to give it a, you know, good pullback at that point, you know. So I think it's always good habit. Once you understand the trading levels a bit, it's good to, you know, incorporate them and, you know, use them for targets and places to put stops and so on and so on. Anyway, India's cranking. So that's all good. We've got iron ore over to the commodity side now. So iron ore, we're expecting to move down further. So that's kind of what it's doing. The next level here is 650. It's probably likely to get a bounce off here, but we'll probably see it come through and we'll probably see it spend some time here. But yeah, so still got further to go here, and obviously this is also affecting our resource stocks as well. But let's go through the commodities first. We've got crude here. There's a couple of things we need to talk about here. If this is the A wave, and then we've got the A, the B, and the C for the B wave here, then we're looking for 5 waves up here. So that will be 1 and 2, and this will be the 3rd wave, 4th and 5th. So we can lift this a little bit higher. You can just follow our crude charts for that. It's also possible to have wave 4 in here, and then that would be 1 and 2 at that point, and we would continue at that point. So you need to be a little bit mindful of that. We don't need that. And well, is gold. So with gold, yesterday we spoke. We were looking at wave B, weren't we, coming up here to the box. So it looks like that's sort of in place at the moment. I was, however, just in the bigger picture first, we're looking for wave A here or wave 1. And then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down through to here. Now, obviously, we can see that it really it's sticking to the 18 there like glue, sticky number. I also made a little bit of a mistake in here because I was thinking that this was wave 1, 2, 3, and 4 here and going up for wave 5. We just didn't get that. So that's a bit of an issue. So it's probably 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. I haven't really resolved that, but it doesn't matter too much for me because I didn't really want to get involved in the B wave too much. Our interest should be down here at looking at this 5 waves coming down through to here. Of course, there's going to be support at the 50-60% mark, which is where it is now. So we can expect all that to be complicated there. So just relax at that point. I have to say, we need to put our trader hat on as well, because if we were thinking about being bullish, then this is the pattern that we would need to look at here. So if this was the 1800 here, we would look at the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC correction, and then we can go long over here, or we can go along on the B wave here of the A, the B, and the C wave here. We go along here. So this is putting our trader hat on. So we could look from this low as the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the A, the B, and the C here. So we would need to go along here. Yes, and that would make the count that we've got currently wrong, but that's okay. It's okay to be wrong, but we just need to make money. That's the point. So this is a trade setup. If that, it may not, and probably won't, can just go straight through there. If that's the case, you'll need to be long at that point. I'm just saying, that's all. Also too, you'll be able to refine that, because if it was going to go up, then we'd get a classic trading levels pattern in here. So we'd have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC correction, then you can go along from that point. And if you're going to do that, then you can build in through group 1 here. So it would be micro group 1. So it would be 1801, 1802, and 1803. So you want a position on 1803 as a tested support, looking to add at 1805. So you look for a classic trading level pattern there as well. So you don't really need the top. It just draws your attention. You should just refining that situation, refining it, and using the level at the 105. From 1800, that'll be this is a minor level, so subgroup 1 here, so 1, 10, 20 and 30 also make up group 1 as well. We never got support on top of that, so yeah, so it's just breaking it down into fractals. But otherwise, you know, it does appear that we've got wave 1 coming down here. I haven't pulled that apart, but it looks like it's pulled back there. So this could be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this, so we'll need to be a little bit careful. Let's just say that's finished here. I don't know if it is or not, but if it has another low, well, then you'll need to look at that. But what we'd be looking at here would be something of this nature. So that's where that can come back to before dropping again. And if that was the case, then we could call this wave 1 here. I don't know if that's the case, but we'll just need to, I haven't had time to study it yet, but something that you can do. So it looks okay as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So that means we get an ABC here. So be careful about going along here. You definitely need that classic trading levels pattern to be, you know, you need to be confident in it. I mean, as a wave 2, it might just spike up there. So that's, I mean, this is why the classic trading levels pattern is good, because if it goes here, here, and here to give that first high above the level, then yeah, then you can use that. So that's really what you're waiting for. So I'll just remove these. Too many objects on the chart. On the platform rather. So what I can do is just delete what I don't need. Let's start. Okay, move on to crude. I've done crude, so copper. We talked about copper being bearish yesterday, so that's still on the cards. So originally we've got wave 3 up here with an A wave, a B wave and a C wave for wave 4 here. It's come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree and all of that. It's good. We know wave 4s can get really complicated, so I was starting to look this up as 1 and 2 here, and we could probably still look at that and up for wave 3, 4 and 5 up there. But because it moved back, we could also look at this from all of this move down here as the A wave, and then the B wave here, and then the C wave here. That's what concerns me at the moment. We had the sharp move down, which is pretty clear that it's in 5 waves. So that's what I wanted to, we need to continue talking. But this is the count that we've had as wave 1 here and 2 here, and then wave 1 pulling back for wave 2 and then moving off again. Now, hopefully that's right, but I have to say that there's a very good case for wave 1 and 2 here, nice strong third wave here, fourth wave here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So there's a good case for 5 waves down here. If that's the case, then we would have a correction back into 61.8%, or this is where the supply is up here, or where you see all those little open and closes together. It's always good to kind of grab that, because that's kind of the Just gives you a nice indication of where we should be over here, which is the 78.6 square root of 61.8%. If we were looking at this as being corrective here, so we've got 5 waves down here, then we'd have to look at that as the A wave, the B wave here, and then we'd have to look at this as wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here. And then we would need to look at this as wave 4 and then wave 5. So we need that to play out at that point. That's the point where it can just continue back down through here. If we get this as a wave 4 such in here, then we can look to be bullish above that point. But we need to go because it's very clear that we've got 5 waves here. We need to take that warning on board. And then this is an A and a B and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the C wave and come down. If it's going to be bullish, then of course we'll look at this as 1 and 2 here and 3 here, an A and a B and a C for 4 and then up for 5. Then we'll be bullish. So we just got to get past this because this gave us 5 waves to the downside. Okay. So hopefully I'm wrong and hopefully that we're bullish. But yeah, we just got that little spanner in the works. So I was just looking at this top here and I was just wondering if this is a top, we could use that as a top, and the A and the B and the C coming down here as an expanded flat kind of thing, but it's a long shot. Anyway, we'll just allow it to play out over the next few sessions and then we'll get an answer on that. But if that's bearish, that puts a lot of a bit of a game changer then, because we'll see a stronger US dollar index and a weaker commodity dollars, like the Australian and the CAD and so on. So from here, let's just go to the Australian dollar, find that. So for the Australian dollar, we were looking at, there's a good case for counting, because I was originally counting this up as 5 waves of 1 and 2 and looking at wave 3 here and coming back for wave 4, but it came back too far. But there's still a case for an A and a B and a C wave here. I know we can squash 5 waves into this space, but it's pushing it a little bit. It could still mean that it goes up here because we could still look at 3 waves here as the A wave and then back for the B wave or wave 2 and up. So here we've got 5 waves down here for this point. And then we've got this point, and then we've got moving down here. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we've got one more little move to come down here. So if I just borrow that for that, we don't need that. So that's kind of what we're looking at this stage as 2 or B. So we need this to land into the zone here, and then we need to see an impulse wave here. So once we get our first little impulse wave to the upside in 5 waves, we'll be able to draw a line across the top of those 5 waves and go long above that, and that will take us higher at that point. But we just need to be careful. This is not going to be an A, B, C here and then continue to drift down through here. So the 72.50 is critical at this point, which is this consolidation over here, and also the 61.8%. So yeah, there's a nice sort of what's the name there for all of that. So that brings us over to the US dollar index, of course. So with the US dollar index, I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, we're looking at, let's just go back here for a second. Let's just look at the daily chart here for a moment. We know this move here is corrective. So we'd looked at it as the A wave, the B wave, and then 5 waves up for the C wave here, looking at the top there. What I've been saying is that if the 90, because it's not really running true to the downside here, there's problems with it. It's not over, and it still could be the case, and we could look at this as wave 1 here and have wave 2 sitting on here. That's all possible. But at the same time, if it is going to be more bullish, what would it look like? Well, first of all, we would need to get support on 93. So a classic trading levels pattern on 93, then it would be bullish at that point. If it was going to be bullish, I think the best fit is still have wave 1 and 2 here and a third wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave here for the fourth wave, and then up for the fifth wave here. So we'd have another high up here, and then we'll have to bring the C wave across over here for that. That would be what we would have to do, okay? But in the meantime, let's go back in here and break that down and have a look at where we're up to at the moment. So we've had wave 4 up here. We could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave and down for the C wave here, and then this wave 4 needs to come across here. That's what I'm talking about. And then we would have to look at 5 waves moving up here into this box area here for that. Otherwise, we'll stay with the 5 waves here. And then it does appear that we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for just the A wave. So we're looking for a B wave. It did pull back here to the 61.8% as a B wave. And then we're looking for a C wave to move up. It hasn't displayed a really nice, maybe it is 1 and 2 in here, but it doesn't look very nice at this point. The 92.50 is a little bit of a line in the sand here as support or resistance. As you can see, it's reasonably important through here. So it's going to be important over here. So keep an eye on that. Above or below that 92.50 is a nice little guideline to see if it's going to be bullish or bearish at that point. If it is going to go up here, then we can look at this as the A wave, the B wave here, and up for the C wave here to make wave 2. But as I mentioned, if we get support on 93, a classic trading levels pattern here, then we're going to be taking out that high and we'll need to count 5 waves up here further. Let's just go to the intraday. I'll just go to the 45 here for a moment. Makes it a bit simpler. So we're looking down at wave 1 here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave. If that 5 waves is correct, then we should be getting we should get a correction, which we noted yesterday as the ABC for the B wave, pulling back into that box there, which was nice. And then we need to get 5 waves up there. So 2 things here is that if we looked at this as wave 1 here and back for wave 2, it doesn't look very nice. It looks like we've got 3 waves coming up here. We'll look at that in a smaller time frame, which in fact we'll do now. Maybe 15 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. You can see here that this move up through here really looks like 3 waves. It doesn't look like 5 waves. So maybe we need to bring the B wave over here for this and look at this as the A wave here, the B wave here, and some sort of C wave here that needs to come down a bit lower, but we want it to come down, we don't want it coming down past that box, so to speak. So we could look at a more complicated, because the size of wave A here, right, the wave B that we had here is okay, but it's okay to have a bigger one as well, so an A and a B and a C wave here. So it would still need to come down here further for this if this is going to be correct, and then we can have a look at 5 waves to the upside at that point. For wave C of 2. If this drops below the box here and then keeps going, then you know that we'll need to look at this as an A and a B and a C wave here or something. But yeah, it suits better with 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 at this point. So yeah, I think we're still in the B wave at this point, and we still got one more move to come up to here, and then we just have to be careful at that point. So let's see how that plays out. Yeah, apologies about that, but can't do much about it. These stocks, so looking at BHP in Australia, from the top here on the daily chart, we've been down looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it looks like we're going to be coming down to closer into 38 here. If I just go to the tick chart to have a closer look at that. We talked yesterday about couple of things here. So from wave 4 here, I was looking down at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. That made sense, but we also looked at, because it wasn't really showing a nice impulse wave here, so we also looked at it as well, we could have possibly wave 3 here and 4 over here, and then looking at this as 1 and 2 back to the 61.8% here, and then looking at 3, 4, 5. So whichever way you want to look at it, we'll be coming down closer towards the 38 area here for this. We will be spending some time, you know, going across the 40 here. We're not going to be going far, so we can look at group 1 above and group 2 below for it to sort of settle into this space. So we need that iron ore down a bit lower. I'm not sure what it is in real terms, but we want it down closer to the $100 mark. It's probably down around probably around about 125 at the moment, or something in around there, I guess. This is also the same for we haven't seen Rio for a while, so Rio's doing the same. So 1, 2 is the daily chart, 3, 4 and 5, so we want Rio down at 100 where it will have a bounce. We're looking at FMG, that also is on its way down in the right way as well, so we've been looking from B to C here. This is the low of wave 3 here. So this was wave 1 and 2 in here. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave. The fourth wave here that we've been tracking, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we're going to see this down at 1650. Still needs to move a bit lower on all of this. So it's just hanging at the 18 at the moment. So I'll spend some time there. But when it finds the 18 as resistance, then it'll be 1720 and then 17 as well, I guess, and then 1650 for that. Probably come down to 16. Because 16 and 17 are important, but the 1650 ends up being the balance between the two of them, and then we normally pick up the trade from that point. Alrighty, the video is too long, so I've gotten through everything, I think, good enough, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.